I'm going to talk about the coordinate grid and plotting points and stuff like that. But instead of just starting with like plotting points and what is the coordinate grid, I want to give a little bit of reasoning for why do we even care about having the coordinate grid. So we're going to start off with an application problem. So suppose you go to a roller skating rink and the entrance fee is $5 and it charges you $2 per hour. And suppose we wanted to kind of organize this information some way and figure out, okay, after so many hours, how much is the price going to be? And so you may think of, well, maybe I could make a table, right? I could talk about the hours that I spent, and I could list out my different prices, right? So after no hours, just entering in the door, there's a $5 entrance fee. If I spend 1 hour there, they're going to add a $2. So then I'm paying $7. If I spend 2 hours there, I'm paying $9. 3 hours, I'm paying $11. And we could keep going with this table, right? And I could keep listing these out. Not that you would necessarily want to spend 30 hours at a roller skating rink, but suppose you were like, okay, well, how about after 30 hours? And then you could either list out all of the different prices that are between 3 and 30 hours, which is a lot, or you could try to be a little bit more clever with it. And you could say, okay, well, I noticed this pattern with my prices, right? Every hour that I'm there, I'm adding $2, right? I add $2 and I add $2. And I'm going to keep going with that pattern where every hour that passes, I add $2, right? So after spending 30 hours there, I will take 2 times H, right? And all of those 2's were added to this original 5, right? And so this is what I'm doing every time that I'm trying to calculate my price, right? And I could just replace this H with a 30 and figure out after 30 hours how much is that going to cost, assuming that you could stay there for 30 hours. Well, we started off by making a table. This was one way of kind of depicting what was going on. And then what we just wrote down here is basically our equation. So we could have our equation where our price, I'll call it P, is equal to 2 times H plus 5, right? This is another way that I can depict this information, right? And kind of describe what's going on. Well, another way is visually with a graph. So maybe I decide, well, maybe I want to make a graph of my prices, right? And maybe on this horizontal axis, I could put my hours spent, or H. And on my vertical axis, I could have the price, or P. And so at 0 hours, my price is 5. So this is actually going to correspond to a coordinate pair on this graph. So when my hours are at 0, my price is 5. Maybe I have my prices like this. So my first point is going to be here, right? And that's just letting us know that, hey, when my hours is 0, my output is 5, or my price is 5. And then I could do the same thing with when 1 hour has passed, then I'm at a price of $7. When 2 hours have passed, I'm at a price of $9. When 3 hours have passed, I'm at a price of $11. and so on and so forth. And so then I get this line of points, right? And so this is going to be my graph. And notice that each of these points, like if I key in on this point, I have my input, or my hours, is 3, and my price is going to be 11. So these are my hours. This is my price. And this kind of lays the foundation for why would we care about plotting these things. And it's because we're plotting these ordered pairs where, you know, our first component and second component, the 3 and the 11, they each have a meaning, and they're associated with each other in some way. So the 3, 11 are associated because after 3 hours, my price is 11, right? They're, you know, they're related to one another in this situation. Okay, so now, just to make sure that we're all good with it, we're just going to plot some different ordered pairs. So suppose we wanted to plot the point 1, 2, negative 3, 2, negative 2, negative 1, and 3, negative 1. And this is just going to be kind of procedural just to make sure that we're good with working with the coordinate plane. So I'm going to draw my y-axis and my x-axis. And I'm going to use these little dots to help me with my graphing. Okay, so the first point that we want to plot is 1, 2. So keep in mind, anytime you're plotting an ordered pair, they come in the order x, y. So input, output. So my input is 1, so I'm going to move over 1 on my x-axis. And my output is 2, so I'm going to move up 2 on my y-axis. So over 1, up 2. And this is going to be my point. So right here is the point 1, 2. Then I have negative 3, 2. That's letting me know that I go negative 3 in my x, and then I go up 2 in my y. So my point's going to be right here. So I have negative 3, 3, 2. And then the third point is negative 2, negative 1. So I go to negative 2 on my x-axis and then down 1 on my y-axis, right? So I go over 2 to negative 2, and then I go down 1. And so this is going to be my point at negative 2, negative 1. And then I have 3, negative 1. So I go to 3 on my x-axis, and I go down 1 on my y-axis. So I've got 3, negative 1. Okay, and those are going to be our ordered pairs.